Hi, I'm Trevor Breen, international show jumper for Team Ireland. I'm based in England, in West Sussex. So I got into horses at a very young age through my dad, John. He always had hunters and stuff like that. But he was a bank manager by trade, but had always had a few hobby horses that he hunted, and he would buy new ones every year, break them, hunt them, and sell them at the end of the season. So I suppose the bug was instilled from him. And then myself and my brother and sister, Shane and Rowena, we followed suit, started riding ponies. And I suppose the rest then is history. It just kind of escalated from there. I think to get to the top of the sport of show jumping, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. You need a little bit of luck as well on the way. You need to get a few breaks here and there. But generally, I think if you work hard, do the right things, you will get that bit of luck and get that break. But you've also got to make that as well, and you've got to be very personable. I think you've got to, be very approachable from owners, sponsors. You've got to be able to talk on camera like this. You've got to sell yourself in that regard also. That in turn, attracts different kind of sponsors, different kind of owners. You hope an owner would see videos you put on, whether it be nowadays social media or this kind of interview, and they'll just think, well, I like that guy, I like what he does. Then obviously they might like how I ride, my style of riding or whatever, and you're always trying to attract someone that just is likes what you do and how you do it, and then when that happens, you've got to form those relationships, build on them, make them stronger. Those people, really make them secure in that relationship. And then obviously you've got to have success with their horses as well. But if you do all those things, generally, I've some very long-term owners. One, probably my longest-term owner, is Karen Swan, who owned Adventure to Canaan, who was one of my earliest best horses, and it's she's still an owner of mine now, probably 15 years on, and we've had some great success down the years, and that's what you've got to do, build on things like that. Probably I probably have two, if that's all right. The first one will be going back to Adventure to Canaan, when I won the Hickstead Derby for the first time. Looking back on it now, I can really appreciate it. At the time, it was more a relief, to be honest with you, because I'd been so close the year before, and we were second, and I felt that was my best year to win it, best chance. Addy was in the best form of his life, and he just nicked the rail, like barely touched it, and I was gutted that year. So then to finally win it next year, and I thought if I didn't win it this year, he was 14 that year, I thought, maybe the best years are behind him, and in my head it was last chance saloon. But so at the time and for a while after, it was just more relief, to be honest. But now looking back on it, it's definitely one of my proudest achievements, and it was brilliant for the horse as well, not just for me but for him. I didn't want him to become one of the best horses not to win the Derby, because he had such a fantastic record in it. I wanted him to be on that list that did win it. I didn't want to be one of the other ones, for him, and he's such a Hickstead record as well. He's won everything there, so that was incredible. And then the other one would be in Hickstead as well. It was my first Super League 5-Star Nations Cup win. Came with Team Ireland. It was in 2018, and we won there. We beat the British team in a jump off. So it goes back to the old Ireland-England rivalry, and we beat England on a home turf, and it was just and obviously Hickstead is 5 minutes from my house as well, so it was an incredible experience. I was with my teammates, were some of my best friends as well. So yeah, it was the whole wave of euphoria. We had a huge support team there, and it was just a fantastic day. Yeah, so at the moment I'm really lucky. I've probably got the best string of horses that I've had since when I had Adventure to Canaan and stuff. It's I've got like probably Highland President is the horse I've jumped 2 Nations Cups on. We won in Abu Dhabi a few weeks ago out here. We also won in Villamora. He was on that. He was double clear there. He was clearing 4 in Abu Dhabi, and they're his first 2 Nations Cups. So he's homebred as well. So it's extra special. He's 10 years old. I think one really good horse for the future. Jermaine W is another one. She's got some really good results in up to 4-star Grand Prix level. She's 11 now, but only jumping for like 2.5 years really. I've produced her along the way. Another horse, Toiger, that's out here also. He just stepped up to Grand Prix level. His first ever Grand Prix, he won it actually in Abu Dhabi. It was 2-star Grand Prix there. He won that, and he backed it up the week after in Al Shira show with the 5th in the 2-star Grand Prix. So and then I've got a few at home then as well. A horse called Dancing Wolf, owned by the old Lodge stud. He is 10 now as well. He's not out here, but he had a brilliant run in Villamora. 3rd in a 2-star Grand Prix there as well, and he's lots of results throughout all last year. And another one of theirs called Jacarla T. She's just turned 8, but she's I really think highly of her. She competed at the World Championships in Lanaken last year, the final, and she was 3rd there. So I think she's only 8, but she can back up the rest and hopefully for the year after and stuff like that. So I've got a really exciting bunch, and there's another one as well, Chanker Mail. He's new. The old Lodge just sent him. I haven't actually competed him yet. He came just before I came out here, but he was competed previously by John Whittaker, and so he's a very good horse. And then a few younger ones at home. One called Glenard Canendro. He's 7 now. He's a phenomenal horse. He's actually a brother to Highland President, the first horse I mentioned. And he was 2nd in 6-year-old final last year. And then a few other younger ones that I think a lot of, but they've yet to come out and kind of prove themselves, shall we? I think to get to the top, going back again, I did it an unconservative way. I did a totally. I rode my first Grand Prix at 26, and that was in Ireland. You probably wouldn't even classify it as a Grand Prix. It was a 135, 140 Grand Prix, but to me it was the biggest class ever. But so I did a degree in college. Then I worked for an insurance company for a year. Then for Merrill Lynch investment bank. Then I was a school teacher for 3 years. So I did it the very unconventional way. But I think looking back on it, I wouldn't change any of that, because I think it's made me who I am and all that kind of stuff. And I think it gives me an added dimension when you go to look to attracting new sponsors and owners. Maybe there's a sponsor and owner out there that sees my background with education and all that and likes that and wants to get behind that, and maybe to train their daughter or son and stuff like that. So I don't see that as a negative. But probably if you're focused on just becoming a show jumper and that's what you want to do, so I would go to a professional yard, just look at any rider that you like, you respect, you admire, like the way they ride, and just send some emails, contact them. There's so many ways to contact people now. Either go to the shows and meet them face to face. That's the best way. If that can't be done, whether because of COVID or whatever, or cost of transport, all that kind of stuff, then there's emails, all sorts of social media. So get in touch and be persistent, and don't expect to go and ride their best horses. Like this sometimes people apply for jobs with me and they think it's just a case of they want to be going into the 5-star show next week. It doesn't work that way, and nobody at this level did that. You've got to start from the ground up. So you've got to literally say, listen, I will come to your stable, I will muck out stables, I will groom, I will do the absolute jobs nobody else wants to do, if it gives me a chance to get into your stable, learn from you, watch and learn, keep your eyes and ears open, and then eventually anyone in the game, if they see someone with a huge work ethic, and they'll give them a chance. And then it's up to you to take that chance. You've got to get on the horse. And again, maybe you're not the most talented rider in the world, But as long as you have a work ethic and are just at asking questions in a good way, not in an annoying way, just in a positive way, wanting to learn, people will you'll buy into that, and you'll put more time into that person, and you'll give them that chance on the horse, and then it's up to them to grow and take it and go from there. And then I suppose after that, then first of all you got to take that initial chance, get that chance and take it. And then after that, I would say my advice would be probably 1 to 2 years is enough with one person once you start riding. Then I would look to maybe learn to move to another one. Definitely keep the relationship really strong with that rider you've been with, and more than likely that rider will help you go to another rider, because we're all friends, we all know each other. And so you can say, oh, I'd love to maybe ride with Luger Beerbaum or Marcus Enning or whoever, and I can speak to them in the show, say, listen, this guy or girl is really good, works like hell, and has talent but just needs polishing up or whatever. They're going to take that person over a random email that they're getting, which you would have sent in the first place. So and then you'll move on with the blessing of the previous guy, and all the time you're building relationships, which we spoke about earlier. And then spend another 1 to 2 years there or whatever, and then it's time to evaluate where you are in life then, whether you want to set up on your own or whether you want to go and take a job, a proper job working for a bigger stable or something like that. And but at that point you've opened up the doors and you've got options. The thing is, like, you don't learn from just riding around the sand arena at home. Like, you've got to, at the start, you've got to just get in the ring. So like some of the best things to do are go and work for a dealer with 50, 100 horses and just ride 10, 15 at a show every day and just get in the ring, make those mistakes and those bad horses, and then hopefully you learn and you figure it out, and then and then go to somewhere else. So there's so many different ways to do this, but in my opinion, that's probably what I would do if I was a young 16, 18-year-old. That's what I would do. Yeah, so I'm based in West Sussex, just beside Hickstead, actually, about 5 minutes from the showground there. I train lots of people. I take people to work for me on a training basis. They work, I pay them as well, but they also get to either groom if that's what they want to do, or groom and ride. But any rider, I don't have a rider as such. I always have people. If you're a rider for me, first of all you have to get up and feed and muck out, and then you get to ride. But you don't just ride horses. In my stable, that's the way I do it. Myself and my wife Caroline ride predominantly, and then the rider will get the chance. But that's how we do it. But yeah, we do all sorts of things. We have an apprentice program at the moment. We have a girl called Tabitha who's on that at the moment. And yeah, we're always open to speaking to people who would like to come over and train with us, base with us with their horses as well. And we keep their horses on site and train them on those as well. And we're open to all sorts of things. And actually I really enjoy it. And in that situation, I bring those people around to the shows with me as well. So they the shows I go to, they would go to, and it's a really good learning experience. Yeah, I teach individual lessons as well. I've lots of clients in the area. Well, they come from 3 hours away, to be honest, but they come and they'll bring 1, 2, 3 horses, something like that, and I'll train them for that few hours, whatever it is, and they'll go home. I do that as well, and I like. You see the progression all the time if they come, whether it be once a week or twice a month, whatever it is. It's a really good to have consistency with those clients. I would have very rarely people just come for one and you never see them again. So it's nice to see them all the time, and your diary nearly is a rolling thing, to where they just keep booking in. But to be honest, I'm probably the problem with the diary, because if I'm away they can't come, but generally we work it out within a few days of when they ask it. We work it out and they can make it. No, I'm very lucky actually. My wife Caroline's very grounded. She jumps as well and competes, but she also is, with the kids at home, Ollie and Mia. We have our house is on the yard, we'll say. So, you can mix the two. But also we're Caroline more so. She's very good at when we are home to actually, go and do things that are outside of horses, you know. And we're very lucky. We've some great friends around home which have nothing to do with horses, and you know, we go off to them for dinner or off with the kids and stuff like that, and it's just nice to get away from it all. And then as well, I'm a bit of a sport junkie, to be honest. I love all sorts of sports, but especially rugby, which very popular in South Africa as well, obviously. So I love just getting away from that and just watching, like Six Nations was on yesterday evening. I watched all of that, and I also play golf. And a lot of the lads here, and it's funny, I go playing golf with a lot of the other show jumpers, and we were only saying it the other day, we go playing golf for like 4 hours, and we even, you know, have a drink afterwards. So we're maybe 6 hours together, and we wouldn't talk about a horse once. It's incredible, but it's refreshing, you know, and you need that. You can't do it non-stop. I suppose it's probably from a horse point of view, if that's what you mean. It's probably my brother Shane. He's 4.5 years older than me, so there's always that big brother thing as well. And especially in the horse scene, he was in horses for, you know, since, you know, he wasn't academic, he wasn't into that at all, so he was just totally down the horse route from a very early age, whereas I was nearly the other way. So in my book, he's so much more experienced than me, and I've always, when it came to a horse, I would always ask his opinion. Now, obviously, you know, it's different, but you know, if I've a difficult horse or something like that, yeah, he'll always be one of the first people I'll ask, and we'll discuss it, and he'll do likewise with me. You know, what do I think and stuff like that. But yeah, he'd be the first one on the list that I talk to. I've been coaching. I suppose the main coach I've had is Shane again. Again, being the older brother back when we were in ponies and kids, you know, he was the teacher, because, like I said, my mum wasn't horsey at all. She was afraid of them, to be honest. So my dad wasn't a show jumper. He was a hunter, which is, you know, totally different skill set, and so Shane started learning, and yeah, so he was my main coach, I suppose. But on top of him, then Tommy Wade, who was he passed away a few years ago. Unfortunately, he was a phenomenal Irish show jumper who won everything as a rider and as a chef to keep. And actually, his son Alan Wade is the course builder now, one of the best in the world. And so he was a big influence on me when I was younger. And then Michael Quirk also, he was a big influence on me. And to Michael, he really gave me the confidence when I first started jumping properly. So they'd be definitely the three main people that helped me along the way. Yeah, I mean, show day is. Yeah, I mean, positive mental attitude is it's something I've gotten more and more into, to be honest. And I read books now quite a lot. I speak to some people, not regularly, but I definitely listen to podcasts, and I read books a lot. I think it makes a huge difference. It's just because, you know, when there's things that are thrown at you throughout the day or the week of a show you've got to deal with, and to have that skill set in your mind to adapt and be strong enough is very important. A typical show day is a bit different out here. We're quite spoilt out here with Team Z7. You know, we've literally all we have to do is ride, whereas at another show we have to, you know, on Grand Prix day you're already thinking about driving the truck home that night, and you know, stopovers and all that kind of stuff. But so it varies a little bit. But yeah, one thing I'll always do is before the Grand Prix, you know, I'll always ride my horse, you know, 2-3 hours beforehand, just give him a little stretch out, work him a little bit, and then, you know, I'll just before I get on, I'll always like just go away privately on my own and just clear the head, go through my own thought process, what I need to do, how I'm going to do it, before I meet the horse to get on it. You know, I think you got to have, once you come over to the horse, I like to be where I want to be mentally, so that I'm not bringing any stressful conversation I've had on the phone or whatever to the horse. I want to get on that horse as clear as possible and let them be as clear as possible. And I think that's something you're always learning in this game, and that's a more recent thing that I've learned to do actually. Just change your mindset and don't be negative. Don't think if something bad happens, don't be like, oh, I can't win now. I think actually flip it around and go, I'm going to win like this. Imagine how cool that's going to be. That's the thing, you've got to like believe, but you can't, there's sometimes you get on, you're pretending you believe, but that's not the same. You've got to genuinely believe. But that comes from hard work and training and putting in the groundwork and knowing the foundation is there to make that happen. You can't just, not ride your horse for the week before and just turn up on the day and believe, oh yeah, I believe it's going to win like that. It's not going to work. Yeah, so Team Z7, they're fantastic. They're my brother Shane's sponsor. It's Sheikh Ameta Al Maktoum is the owner of Team Z7, and she has, she's a huge interest in horses. Probably polo is her first love, to be honest, and she's a fantastic polo team and that she plays in herself. But she's hugely involved in the show jumping, and she's brilliant. We come over here. Shane brings a couple of riders with him, and they've amazing facilities. We literally, anything we need or want, we get in order to make us and the horses perform at their best. So it's a fantastic time. We come over generally for 6 to 8 weeks and do really good shows here in the UAE, which they're fantastic shows. They're 3, 4 and 5 star level. So it's a brilliant way to spend the start of the year and get out of the cold weather back home and over here, and the whole team in Zabil stables, in Team Z7, it is a huge team atmosphere and everyone is behind each other. Like, we were at their polo match, they're at the semi-finals Thursday night, and we went to it and they won. Unfortunately they lost the final last night, but we couldn't make that because we were jumping here. But and the guys come to our shows as well if they're not playing polo, so it's a huge team effort, and it's a great place to be, and I think it eggs everyone on and to do better, which is what you want.